Alright, so we popped some premium figures. We talked about the enigmatic Volothamp Gedarm. Coffee Cat says nya. And if any of you out there have questions that you need help with your own campaign, or you want to talk about what you did at your last adventure, you're welcome to do so. We may be starting a workshop session. It doesn't mean it's still not a conversation. As I am wont to say, we are all sitting at chairs, and, well, at tables, in chairs at a game store. It's table talk. And if you have questions on what I'm presenting, then speak up. Yeah, Detroit is getting intense. Who knew that that these neonates here were such movers and shakers? Which, by the way, everyone, because we are getting towards the end of the week, Macabre Derek runs a Vampire the Masquerade game Sunday evenings called Detroit by Night, The Motor City Broke Down. Coffee Cat, is Volo here? Or Volo. Is Volvo here, but of course, is Volo here? Who knows? Might as well just get a little like clip art of Volo and hide him on screen and play, you know, where on Matty Morg's stream is Volothamp Gedarm. And whoever can find him peeking out from someplace might win a prize or something. Daily, you had to check. It's good that you did so here, because you'll never know where he's going to end up. All right, so tonight, because we have gone over the content, at least the major crunchy bits of Acquisitions Incorporated, right? I have my physical copy. Do you? I hope so. And if not, visit your friendly local game store. Da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I want to make a couple characters in the Acquisitions Incorporated style. Let's see, what does an AI character look like? How would one mechanically implement a suplex? Mechanically, I think would be easier than perhaps metaphorically, or some other. Oh, that's a joke. Okay. I have my D&D Beyond copy. Yeah, you kids and your fancy technologies. That works. So as long as you have the supplement, right? And Daily, I hope that you've really been enjoying it if you've had a chance to read it over. I don't know if there's any bits of it that you've implemented piecemeal, or if you're planning on running an AI campaign in the future. Hey, O'Sheeps, welcome. O'Sheeps, by the way, popped a really good gacha capsule the other day. It had 4 vampires in it. Speaking of coteries, speaking of Detroit by Night, but yeah, the prize inside the capsule was 4 vampires. All right, so what I have here is our character creator. And it is even complete with a built-in dice roller. How about that, huh? Look at that. Now, I'm going to edit some of the information because we're going to make 2 characters tonight. And the first one, we're going to roll a random race out of the player's handbook. The other, we're going to use the custom, not really custom because D&D recognized it, at least officially on D&D Beyond, the Verdin. And so we're going to make a Verdin character as well. Both the backgrounds are going to be out of Acquisitions Incorporated as well. So when it comes to, I'm going to scoot this over. When it comes to our race sources, I'm going to turn off Volo's Guide to Monsters. You see how I can activate things here and there? Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, Sword Coast Adventures Guide, etc., etc. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn on the player's handbook. There's a Matty Morg's. There's not like custom Matty Morg's races, but it does a little something extra. And there we go. So I don't have the D&D time races on. I don't have Ravnica. We're doing player's handbook here. Now for our background, well, honestly, I'm just going to roll the number of the backgrounds that are in the book. So this isn't going to matter. For our class and subclass sources, I'm going to keep it simple to the player's handbook. The Acquisitions Incorporated does mention perhaps subclasses from Xanathar's Guide, but I'm going to keep this simple because I want to worry about the player's handbook plus one book. If you would like to, Daily, there are 3 capsules left until that triggers a refill. Kind of in between broadcasts. When it's refilled, I'm gonna bring the capsules back up to 50. However, I will say there's still a $40 prize in one of these capsules down here, along with a lot of other minis that are painted and unpainted. Some combo stuff. There's minis of all shapes and sizes from all the different sources we've pulled minis from. And when the prize goblins go in, those are going to have coupons that I will pay an artist in our community on your behalf to have something produced for you. All right, so our first character is going to be a random race out of the player's handbook. So first things first, do we have a female character, a male character, or a multi-class character? I'm going to roll a percentile set to find out. 47, so we have a male character. Now I'm going to roll a 9-sided die, and I'll just hit the D10 and reroll a 10. 2. Race number 2 is a dwarf. I'm going to roll the D10 again and go odds or evens for hill or mountain dwarf. Evens. So we have a male mountain dwarf. Let's just do a balanced odds here, because Acquisitions Incorporated draws from all kinds of folks. I mean, we could argue a penchant for evil, given, the tongue-in-cheek sort of, corporate bad guy humor. But I'll just keep this one equal for purposes of what we're doing. 61. We have a chaotic neutral male mountain dwarf. So let me start filling this in on our character sheet here. Male mountain dwarf. Chaotic neutral. Those are medium-sized creatures. The level at which we're going to produce this character, I'm going to roll a percentile set to find out. I rolled a 37. We have a level 8 character. So let's fill this in. Level 8 character. Now that means by level 8, we'll have access to at least 2 ability score improvements, ASIs, aka stat bumps. I'm going to roll a percentile set and find out, are we going to be replacing any of those with feats instead? 95, actually, so we're going to replace both our stat bumps with feats. So let's add that to the character sheet. Here's a placeholder. 1, 2. Now, our background sources. This is where you crack open your copy of Acquisitions Incorporated, and we're going to turn to page 47 in your books. And so we have a celebrity adventurer scion, a failed merchant, a gambler, a plaintiff, rival intern. So we have 6 different backgrounds. Let's roll a d6 and find out which background this AI character has. 2. We have a failed merchant. Okay. Ooh. There you go. If any of you paused the VOD, I opened up the wrong Excel. You can get a little glimpse of what is in the capsules. I've actually been showing you peeks of what's in there too, by the way. I don't know if anyone... I dug too deep. Haha. So we have our background. Now it's time to choose our class and subclass. I'm going to roll a 12-sided die, this big golden D12. Oh, the dwarf, he a failed merchant and all? Yes. So he dug in his coin purse too deeply and overextended his credit. And from here, we're going to determine the subclass and other features. 1, a barbarian. All right, well, maybe... Hey, GM Vault, welcome. By the way, GM Vault, did you... you received your minis from last month's... Because you had me ship them out. Did I ask after those? Did they arrive all right for you? So we have a barbarian. And, oh, actually, real quick. I'm going to roll a d12 again, and we either have a berserker or a totem warrior. Odds or evens? Evens. We have a totem warrior. So a barbarian totem warrior. You're very welcome. I hope that they bring you much joy at your tabletop, GM Vault. Now, a little bit of detail. We are going to find the mountain dwarf. And as you can see, the biological ages in or parts of a life cycle change based on the race that's input. I'm going to roll a percentile die to find out where in the dwarf's life he is. I rolled a 55, and so we have an adult dwarf. And the biological adulthood, not the cultural or the legal, is 18 plus 1d 119 years. Plus 18, and roll it. All right, we have a 90-year-old adult dwarf. The base height for a mountain dwarf is 4 feet. We're going to add 2d4 inches to his height. He's 4'4". Then we're going to roll 2d6, multiply it by 4, and add that to the base weight. So 2d6. So we're adding 24 pounds, 154 pounds. And stands at 4 feet, 4 inches tall. Now, of course, while we don't know the details of it yet, the background has some things for us to roll too. 2d8 for the personality traits, and then an ideal, a bond, and a flaw, each off of a d6 chart. So let's fill in these numbers. 8, 8, so maybe he's, whatever 8 is, he's super that, but let's get 2 different ones. There we go. 8, 4, 1, 3, 2. 8, 4, 1, 3, 2. There's placeholders. I don't know what those mean yet, but we're going to find out very shortly. And now we have this outline for this character. We have started to draw details from the unlimited potentiality of the cosmos, of the ether, of existence itself. We have plucked a character from it, and this character is slowly, step by step, coming into focus before our eyes. Temperament and customer service might have been a business issue, says Daly. The joy will be mine, but not the players. I know you said that you had some good fun because you ended up winning the fire and ice wall spell effects during the year anniversary event, and from what I remember you saying, you got some use out of those. Hey, Diadems, welcome. All right, now that we have this information from our character generator, we can put the dice roller away, and we can open up Acquisitions Incorporated, as well as, and I'm going to shrink this down a little bit here. I'll still read it for the benefit of everyone, but this way we can have both the sheets open, and it's a lot easier to go back and forth. And I would rather have focus on the character sheet. When making a character, I love starting with the background first, because this is going to tell us so much more. Your background gives your character character. Sure, we know it's a Mountain Dwarf Barbarian. Well, so is every other Mountain Dwarf Barbarian. This one, however, was a failed merchant, and not just any failed merchant, but. And let's discover what happened in this dwarf's life. First things first, we get proficiency with investigation and persuasion. Investigation and persuasion. Tool proficiencies, one type of artisan tools. And we can roll that randomly, or, you know, if the personality seems to fit in one other direction, then we can just choose. It's up to us. It's our character. We'll do what we want. Languages, one of our choice. So dwarves get to speak Common, Dwarven or Dwarvish, and one other. So I'm going to signify that by some question marks. And our equipment, we're going to get a set of artisan tools. A merchant's scale. A set of fine clothes. And a belt pouch containing 10 gapuz. Now, our background feature is supply chain. From your time as a merchant, you retain connections with wholesalers, suppliers, and other merchants and entrepreneurs. You can call upon these connections when looking for items or information. Common, Dwarven, or drunk/crude. Truly, that is its own language. All right, so we have contacts. This character comes into the game with contacts, which is wonderful for a DM. This is manifesting part of the world for you, and in a way that will also get the attention of the player and hook them into the world, which reduces murder hoboism. But it also really makes them have an effect in the world and feel relevant. Not just feel relevant, but be relevant. All right. What are our personality traits? 8 and 4. My heart wasn't in being a merchant, so I failed. I'm not all that keen on adventuring either, but I need the money. Oh, why do we need the money? What happened? These are things to start thinking about with this character. Mountain Dwarf, Totem Barbarian, who is a failed merchant because, well, he needed the money, and so, you know, he's willing to do things, but his heart wasn't at least in being a merchant, and not even that of an adventurer. And personality trait number 4, the customer is always right. So, interesting. Is his rage as a barbarian more of a passive-aggressive nature? Not that mechanically he doesn't get the benefits of rage. Rage tends to be, I'm angry and I'm going to express my anger outside of myself through roaring and hitting harder. What if we have a merchant who internalizes the retail experience, bottles it, right? Sits on it, doesn't let it go. And that is what causes the rage. So when something happens and he hits that point, he kicks a trash can across the store. Maybe he was the minimum rage. Minimum rage help, huh? Old Port. Hey, the puns should flow. Look, the spirit of Acquisitions Incorporated is to add, by default, some silliness. Puns and references and you know, parallels. Not that you can't run a super serious Acquisitions Incorporated game, though it's presented to you in such a way that it is, you know, tongue-in-cheek humor, office humor, that kind of stuff. And so puns are definitely a part of that. Next up, his ideal. So I'm actually going to scoot this off to the side so I can read this here while I'm typing. His ideal is number 1, survival. Where there's life, there's hope. If I remain alive and flexible, I can succeed. You know, so maybe he was trying to find some, you know, some self-help or something. He read a couple business books and is trying some, you know, power tie, power nap, 7 effective behaviors of asking who moved my cheese. He might be into yoga, GM Vault. He may very well be into yoga. I mean, so we have someone who's trying to find peace from the corporate world. Bond gives you why he needs the money. Character is writing itself. Uh-oh. Daily saying Bond number 3. Uh-oh. My former business partner fell ill, and then our business failed. Part of my new venture involves earning enough to take care of their family. You are absolutely correct. The character writes itself, Daily. I feel like a serious Acquisitions Inc. game would borrow heavy from your Ray Winstons and Vinnie Joneses. I think I don't understand. Well, it's not that I don't understand. I'm not familiar with the actors and or characters. Hey, One Crit Wonder. Yeah, Old Port, you're going to have to specify. More input needed. Meanwhile, One Crit Wonder just saunters in here like he owns the place. Get a load of this guy, Cam. Now, lastly, what is this character's flaw? We are stereotypical dark comedy English actors who are typecast and British gangsters typically. Okay. Hey, some British dry here. Hey, where did The Office start, right? Flaw number 2. I must have the best of everything. Like right now. Who let him in here? Diadems, you're supposed to be the one guarding the door. Did you tell him you can't get in here with them shoes? Or did you just let him saunter in here? And where did One Crit Wonder get that Grand Poobah hat? Or what was it in Flintstones, the Order of the Water Buffalo or something? They had the nice big hat with the horns and the little, like, the moon or something on it. I like that. So he takes care of the family while blowing all the money on the latest and greatest. So he probably sets something aside But when he needs something, he gets the best of what he needs, and then if there's money left over, it goes into this side fund. Because it's not that it's asked of him; he wants to provide the charity, and he is chaotic neutral, right? He can take care of others. He's not completely selfish, but he's certainly helping himself first to the shinies before passing anything else along to the widow or the widower. It's Daly's fault, distracted by me being stream boss. Or distracted me by being stream boss. Does that make you twitch a bit? Hey, Dwells, welcome back. It's good to see you. Alright, here's our character, right? Now, not completely just yet. Not just yet. There's one other thing we're actually going to be adding to this character. We have an adult mountain dwarf. A failed merchant. And I would imagine whatever artisan tools we have proficiency with, pardon me, were regarding the business in which he ran. And because of how important that could be for making the character, especially just cutting it out of whole cloth, let's go to Chapter 5 of the Player's Handbook and find out. Right? Artisan tools. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There are 17 different artisans tools. I closed my dice roller, but you know what I'm going to do? Slash 1d20. I'm going to roll in chat, and if I get an 18 or higher, I'll just re-roll. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, cook's utensils. So our must have been a chef. So, cook's utensils. And of course, we have our really nice pots and pans. So, at the starter money, instead of buying the used friolator from the sort of the repurposed kitchen good supplier that a lot of starting restaurants do, he went for the top of the line, the friolator 3000 that could serve 10 times the amount of people they ever had at their peak while the restaurant was going. Dwills, you can find the commands below. There's a list of the different commands there. Daily. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're prepping Star Wars. Excellent. Just chiming in to say, hey, I can't hang for long. One Crit, I still appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much. And by the way, One Crit, how close are you in your subscriber count to your goal on YouTube? Because if any of you aren't subscribed to One Crit, I would ask that you do so. Not only does it support someone in our community, but he makes some excellent videos. He is well worth your subscription. Now mentally putting forward, that said, Dwarf ran a chip shop or a chippy. Oh, right, to go into the into the British parallel there. All right, so we had someone who apparently ran a restaurant, as the failed merchant. So in this case, we could even maybe put in parentheses, or we could even make our own. Is he a restaurateur? Did he run a food truck, a food wagon, a roadside stand, or did the partner? Because again, who's the partner? This is an NPC that we could generate. Well, we could even have like a Jacob Marley sort of thing, right? We have someone who smolders with generic rage over the failed business because his heart wasn't in it. Look at Ebenezer Scrooge. Now, you might think that man isn't a barbarian, but have you seen the things that he says? I mean, he's wearing frumpy pajamas. We don't know if Ebenezer has old man strength. But we might have the makings of kind of a regretful Ebenezer-style character in the form of this dwarf. No, Dwells, you're fine. You can also type exclamation point commands, and I believe that will give you a list of commands as well. Otherwise, they should be listed in like the channel information section below where you're seeing everything take place. So we have a restaurateur. Did I misspell that? No, it's not offering a suggestion. Okay. Now, after joining Acquisitions Incorporated, there is a bonus package that you get by being a part of a franchise. And similar to it, not that it's stated as such, but how we built it into our Saltmarsh officer characters. This is overtly built into AI characters in a party. And that is your company position. The cartographer, the decisionist, the documancer, the hoardsperson, the loremonger, the obviator, the occultant, or the secretarian. We have 8 positions inside a franchise. I am going to roll a D8, and let's find out. Yes, to your YouTube one crit. How far away are you from your goal if you haven't already met it? And can you provide a link so that we can help a brother out? Let's find out what this character is doing after failing in the restaurant business, needing to make money, if only to buy shiny things, but to help out this family as well, and go from there. I'll roll it in chat. 1d8. We rolled a 4. Cartographer, decisionist, documancer. We have a hoardsperson. Now, position per... this is what you get for being a hoardsperson. In addition to the proficiencies noted below, you can add your proficiency bonus to an ability check to negotiate a price for goods and services, assess the quality of equipment and treasure, or analyze resources in a local area. It is labeled as such because that might mean, let's say we don't take survival as a proficiency. In this circumstance, where we're trying to analyze resources in an area, maybe nature or survival, because it falls into that purview, we have this kind of floating conditional proficiency. And I'm going to put this... race, class, archetype. We're going to put this down here with hoardsperson. And so we have position proficiency with the conditions that it lays out. Now, based on this character, we have, like on this first character, we have a rank 2 franchise, as we have a level 8 character. Not that it can't be higher, but I think, look, this is our first character. It is what it is. So we're going to give this character what you get at both rank 1 and rank 2. So as a rank 1 hoardsperson, you gain proficiency with jeweler's tools. Head office... Also, oh, is this a mistype? They usually capitalize the O in office, don't they? Anyway, head office also grants you the use of jeweler's tools. So we're going to add that to our pack here. And an account ledger, as well as up to 5 gold pieces worth of equipment from the following options. Barrel, basket, block. So we're going to put account ledger. and 5 GP of special items to float it. I'm not worried if he has a barrel. If we want to go back and say he does, that's fine. But we have it budgeted in our inventory down here. What a deal. Also at rank 1, you can use your extensive supply network to buy 1 item found on any table in the mounts and vehicles or trade goods section in the Chapter 5 of the Player's Handbook and have it delivered to your franchise headquarters within 1 day. With a successful DC 15 Charisma Persuasion check, you also negotiate a 50% discount on the item. If you fail the check, you cannot use this feature again until you finish a long rest. When you use this feature successfully twice, you cannot use it again until your franchise attains the next rank. So down here we have What a Deal. And you know what? This works especially well. You know, so we can force that What a Deal and use one of our 2 uses before the franchise ranks up. Because we are the failed merchant, we also still have a supply network that can be an extra bonus. Uh-oh, Dwells. Uh-oh, yeah, the poisonous snake got you. That's why, Diadems, Dwill, you need 50 EXP for a res, please. And Dwill's only has 30. Now, we also get a living loot satchel. And this is rank 2. As a rank 2 Hoardsperson, you are granted the use of a living loot satchel, which is an uncommon magic item. It functions as a bag of holding and is available in a variety of colors and styles. Now, we're a barbarian, so it's a broad belt with a dozen hanging pockets. Now, if you want it to be something different, I mean, we can roll it and say cleric, a hollowed out holy tome. We had someone who used to be a chef. It could be a hollowed out recipe book. You know, it could be a lot of things. Is the ranger, you know, does the ranger not a hunter to kill? So would it be a fur-lined bindle, or would it actually be, you know, a small hollow log or something like that? But going by what is in here, though, we're going to add that to our equipment here. We have a living loot satchel. And down here I'm going to put LLS. And for a quick descriptor, a broad belt with a dozen hanging pockets. The Living Loot Satchel is a kind of magical being that safeguards the franchise's funds and valuables. Its innards are connected to a secure coffer within head office's vault in Waterdeep, to which the satchel periodically transfers the franchise's wealth. As an action, you can transfer any amount of your franchise funds back to your satchel with a successful DC 15 sleight of hand check. Living the Good Life. Also, at rank 2, head office trusts that as long as your needs are met, you have no reason to skim any profits. You maintain a wealthy lifestyle at no cost to you. Ah, so maybe let's combo this, right? Let's make some wombo combos. He was striving for this life. And so now maybe that he is in this position, he can earn money for all the good stuff that he wants because of this wealthy lifestyle. And this could actually let him send more money back to his partner's surviving family. Living the Good Life. So, good food, good drink, access to places. No, hey, Dwills, it is no hassle at all. You're absolutely fine. There are fun games that, like little mini games you could play in this chat with the commands. Good inspirational roleplay prompts. Just fun to have. You have questions about D&D that aren't related to what we're doing? Ask them. This isn't just a lecture. It's a workshop, but we could talk about whatever comes up. All right. So this was the special bit that we added onto our character, much like we added the officer's kind of package or whatnot to the salt marsh system. Now that we have our background, which is going to include our position in the franchise, let's go to the player's handbook and find out what we get by virtue of being a Dwarf. Dwarf. Your Constitution score increases by 2. So let's float it 2. We are medium-sized. Our base speed is 25 feet. So 25, 12, 12, 0 for climb, swim, fly, respectively. We do get 60 feet of dark vision as a dwarf. We have Dwarven Resilience. You have advantage on saving throws against poison, and you have resistance against poison damage. So up here, resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities. I'm going to bring it over and zoom in. At least on this character sheet, this isn't the normal one, but on this one, immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities, we're resistant to poison damage, so there we go. And down here under advantages, this is versus poison. What you doing, bud? You want to come up and say hi to people? Maybe. He's thinking about it. Hey, Shukan, welcome. Yeah, so the satchel, I would have to repurpose somehow because I do not play with bags of holding or extra dimensional spaces. Come on. You got this? What are you doing? Come here. There we are. All right, everyone. You have your knight's cat butt. Fallon, we went over the background, and we went over the franchise position. Maybe I'd have to look at the spell and think about it. Dwarven combat training, that's going to be usurped by the fact we're a barbarian, so that's not really going to matter. Tool proficiencies. You gain proficiency with the artisan's tools of your choice. Smith tools, brewer supplies, or mason's tools. Well, considering the fact we are a failed merchant, particularly a restaurateur, by virtue of our artisan tools, the brewer supplies seems to make sense. We also get... Oh, hi, bud. Oh, yep. I know, you're living on the edge here. Kind of literally. You just have a couple inches you're trying to squish down on. We are going to get stone cutting. We already have our languages, and now for our sub-race. As a mountain dwarf, we increase our strength by 2, and we have proficiency with light and medium armor, but we get that already by being a barbarian. So there we go. Yeah, it could be something like that, Fallon. Exactly. You know, anything that gets deposited in there, It auto accounts for, you know, the franchise fees or taxes or things like that. All right, now that we have made a dwarf that is a failed merchant and the Hoardsperson of this franchise, let's go to Barbarian and apply Totem Barbarian stats to this character. And by the way, remember, we're taking 2 feats and not 2 ability score improvements with this character. So think about that as well. Which feats are we going to want to give this character? Oh, pumpkin pie. Heck yeah, Shukan. Do we get whipped cream with it too? And if so, is it the spray-on kind or is it in a tub that we dollop? Whoop. All right, there's cat butt. Everyone enjoy that. I'm glad y'all like that emote. I will take the tub whipped cream. It doesn't deflate as quickly as the aerosol variety. All right, level 8. Dun, 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 dun. This is what we're getting. Our proficiency bonus is a +3. We are going to get rage. And we are going to get 4 rages. So rage times 4. And +2 damage. We are a D12 hit die class, so we have 8d12 hit die, and that is our natural recovery while we take a short or a long rest. That doesn't consume potions or spells. This is us being able to catch our breath and mend ourselves, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and such. Homemade whipped cream is greater than tub, greater than aerosol. I would support that product or service, Fallon. We have light armor, medium armor, and shield proficiencies. So for armor, we have light, medium, shields. Weapons, simple, and martial. Nice and easy. No tool proficiencies. Our saving throw proficiencies are strength and con, as you might imagine. Skills. Choose 2 from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. By the way, if we added actually the cook role of Saltmarsh, that would be extra interesting. So, choose 2 from animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, and survival. Let's take a look at the personality, right? Who is our person? Who is our character? My heart wasn't in being a merchant, so I failed. I'm not all that keen on adventuring either, but I need the money. And the customer is always right. Survival, where there's life, there's hope. If I remain alive and flexible, I can succeed. My former business partner fell ill, and then our business failed. Part of my new venture involves earning enough to take care of their family. And lastly, I must have the best of everything, like right now. Animal handling, athletics, nature, perception, survival. He's a restaurateur, and he's the Hoardsperson of the franchise. With all of this background information, I mean, yeah, we could say he's a totem warrior barbarian, and by being a totem, maybe the animal handling, right? You work around animals, even as a cook, right? You worked around animals. You might have had to catch them, go fresh, go fishing or do some butchering yourself. And knowledge nature might come in handy.
Let's decide which box you get.
All right, everyone. Chat can decide. With the 22, Shukan can bust into a fresh brick of Storm King's Thunder and get a full pull out of it. Otherwise, there's Dungeon of the Mad Mage, Monster Menagerie 1, Dragon Heist, Ravnica. Did I miss any? I think that was it. Fallon wants you to have a Monster Menagerie 1. Now, if that's the case, you'd be floating $3 extra, Shukan. He wants to be generous and donate the 20. I would, not that I'd feel terrible, but I would want to. I want him to open a box. Diadems knows me. Well, too bad. You're gonna open a box and you're gonna like it. Diadems wants Storm King's Thunder. Well, Shukan, Fallon says MM1. Diadem says Storm King's Thunder. First Cast, hello, good to see you. Welcome. If I recall correctly, it's been a while since we've seen you in here, huh? I'm not calling you out. I'm not upset or anything. But I think that I remember your name from a while ago. It has been, okay. You have a feeling about a Gigante. Well, it would be a fresh brick of Storm King's Thunder to bust into with that. Perception and survival. So we have this person, a Hoardsperson, Restaurateur, good with cooking, good with brewer supplies. Part of that is also finding. The ingredients. So you know what? I think survival and nature would fit this person for both being a totem barbarian and a restaurateur. All right, so Fallon changes the vote to a Storm King's Thunder. There was a period of about 3 weeks several months ago. I would join every once in a while. And, well, I hope things have been well for you. If not, you know, I don't want to, you know, rock any ships or something. But hopefully you're getting done what needs doing. You are being happy and successful as best you can be. And First Cast, welcome back and thank you for taking a moment to come and say hi to us again. I really appreciate that. I know that there's a lot of you who stop by. I do my best to at least try and recognize you. Even if I can't remember a particular conversation that we had, just like with the store, I would recognize a lot of people, at least by face or by their nickname in the store. I may not remember, oh, you know, did that person play Magic or Cardfight Vanguard or something like that? Or, oh yeah, what, it was D&D, but was that the October session or was that November? I may lose details there, but I like to try and remember people's presences so I can welcome them back wholeheartedly. Things are at least going. All right. Well, First Cast, if you need a pick-me-up, if you need a little bit of a place to either vent or to get some good motivation, you know we're going to be good for it. You'd remember them as the Wild Magic Kobold, not as Steve. There you go. And Shukan, it looks like it was Storm King's Thunder. Both Fallon and Diadems wants you to do that. So with that said, do you want to pick a number 1 through 8 about where we're going to break the box? Or break the brick? Alright, so we have our skills. We get some starting equipment, a great axe or any martial or melee weapon. 2 hand axes. And you know what? The hand axe should almost be like a cleaver. Right? It's still slashing damage. So maybe we do go with the great axe. We could have a great sword. Whatever you think would be appropriate for this character. You know, do you think that they'd have like a huge Ginsu knife? Because look, Acquisitions Incorporated is kind of goofy. You want to reflavor a weapon? We can reflavor a weapon. An Explorer's Pack and 4 Javelins. Alright, so we get to Rage. That's already here in our class feature. We have Unarmored Defense. We get reckless attack. Danger sense. Our primal path we'll get to in a second. Let's make our barbarian first. Then we'll look at our totem warrior. We're going to get an extra attack. Our fast movement. That's going to be adding another 10 feet. So let's change it up real quick. So we actually have a 35-foot speed. So that is going to be 17 and 17. We have feral instinct. You have advantage on initiative rolls. And we're not quite at brutal critical yet because we're level 8. So these are the abilities, and if you want to read them in specificity, hey, crack open your player's handbook, turn it to page 4849, and it's there for you. Now, for the path of the totem warrior, for our archetype, we get Spirit Seeker. Yours is a path that seeks attunement with the natural world, giving you a kinship with beasts. At 3rd level, when you adopt this path, you gain the ability to cast the Beast Sense and speak with animal spells, but only as rituals, as described in Chapter 10. So, Spirit Seeker. Beast Sense. Ritual only. Speak with animals. Ritual only. Now we are going to get a totem spirit. At 3rd level, when you adopt this path, you choose a totem spirit and gain its feature. You must make or acquire a physical totem object, an amulet or similar adornment that incorporates fur or feathers, claws, teeth, or bones of the totem animal. At your option, you also gain minor physical attributes that are reminiscent of your totem spirit. For example, if you have a bear totem spirit, you might be unusually hairy and thick-skinned, or your totem is the eagle and your eyes turn bright yellow. So we have 3 animals that are listed that could really just be inspirational placeholders. You know, the bear could very well be a badger. You could even make the argument that the wolf could be as well. So the bear, while raging, you have resistance to all damage except psychic damage. The spirit of the bear makes you tough enough to stand up to any punishment. Eagle, while you're raging and aren't wearing heavy armor, other creatures have disadvantage on opportunity attack rolls against you, and you can use the dash action as a bonus action on your turn. The spirit of the eagle makes you into a predator who can weave through the fray with ease. Well, you kind of need that in a kitchen, it sounds like. Then again, the bear being resistant to all damage, that's heat damage. That's a lot of damage mitigation, which could also be really effective in a kitchen. Or the wolf. While you're raging, your friends have advantage on melee attack rolls against any creature within 5 feet of you that's hostile to you. The spirit of the wolf makes you a leader of hunters. So this would have been the head chef position, right? You are a chef barbarian is Gordon Ramsay. In this case, he could have been the head chef, Fallon. Who knows? The business partner could have been. Yes, there is also an elk, I think, in Xanathar's. But I'm sticking to just the player's handbook for this exercise. But you are correct, Shukan. The character is because we're exploring the Acquisitions Incorporated supplement, and so we're making characters because we reviewed the rules. We reviewed the rules for the expansion, and now we're putting them into practice by making characters. Let's see. I must have the best of everything right now. My former business partner fell ill. Take care. Survival. Where there's life, there's hope. If I remain alive and flexible, I can succeed. My heart wasn't in being a merchant, so I failed. I'm not all that keen. So maybe he was the chef. The business partner ran the business part of it. The business partner died. He had to Well, I'd say cook the books. He had to cook and tend to the books, and he couldn't manage that. The customer's always right. So in this case, it does sound like he is more of a leader. And so I think the wolf might very well work in this regard. And at level 6, we get an aspect of the beast. If we go bear, you gain the might of a bear. Your carrying capacity is doubled, and you have advantage on strength checks made to push, pull, lift, or break objects. That could come in handy as the Hoardsperson. Yes, you do get a bag eventually, though why not carry even more? The eagle, you gain the eyesight of an eagle. You can see up to 1 mile away with no difficulty, able to discern even fine details as though looking at something no more than 100 feet away from you. Additionally, dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on your wisdom perception checks. That would come in very handy for dark vision, by the way. And wolf, you gain the hunting sensibilities of a wolf. You can track other creatures while traveling at a fast pace, and you can move stealthily while traveling at a normal pace. The wolf in this case, I don't know if that would still resonate with who this character is. The bear seems to be the hot contender, though I can definitely entertain the eagle for having those, those extra senses. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking bear on this one. Is even stronger, can carry even more. Dwarves are natural. They have to in order to keep up. Super Spite can spot minor differences nobody would notice, all in the name of freshness. And a variant that replaces Speak with Beasts with Speak with Plants. And I could see I could see a Totem Warrior or someone kind of a player haggling for that with Dungeon Master. I'm not getting the perceptiveness, especially for like the super sight in that regard. I think the bear, right? He can bear many things. He can tote quite a burden. However, the one burden that he couldn't continue was to actually run the business in the wake of the death of his partner. So he is strong physically, and the character's kind of redemption is to be strong mentally as well. Though, of course, you know what? When I post these up on Discord at the end of the week, if you want to download this character sheet and swap it out, you're welcome to do so. Oh, my headset finally died. I'll have to plug those in. All right, now, the next thing we get is at level 10, so, forget about it. All right, we have our character mostly finished. Before we assign anything else, we need to go to Chapter 6 customization options, because we need to pick out 2 feats for our character. According to diadems, because dwarves are natural sprinters, we should clearly give Charger. Heart wasn't in being a merchant, so I failed. I'm not all that keen on adventuring either, but I need the money. And the customer is always right. You know, if we have someone who can already, by being this totem warrior, cast some rituals, I wonder if a ritual book wouldn't be a bad notion, especially because that could almost be treated like a recipe book. And so being a ritual caster could be cool. What else do we have here? Or even it was inherited from the partner. Maybe the partner was a magic user, and when the partner died, the family kind of gave all the books of business to the dwarf, and in that was the ritual book of the partner that he carries around to study and is getting benefits from the Jacob Marley to the Ebenezer Scrooge character here. Let's see. Survival, where there's life, there's hope. If I remain alive, I almost, you know, if not durable, then I wonder if giving this character, not mobile, not resilient. Resilient could be interesting too. Tough. Your hit point maximum increases by an amount equal to twice your level when you gain this feat. Whenever you gain the level thereafter, your hit point maximum increases by an additional 2. And so this person just becomes an absolute, just like a big hit point. You know, I'm tough. I'm going to be in combat. I'm going to be in your face. I'm going to rage. Would Observant make sense? Probably not with the character as we've described their personality. So I'm kind of thinking to going... Now, if you have another recommendation, then lay it on me. But let's go Tough and Ritual Caster. Having a Barbarian with Rituals can be very interesting. Int or Wisdom 13 or higher, you have learned a number of spells that you can cast as rituals. These spells are written in a ritual book, which you must have in hand while casting one of them. When you choose this feat, you acquire a ritual book holding 2 first-level spells of your choice. Choose one of the following classes: Bard, Cleric, the class you choose also determines your spellcasting ability for the spells. Charisma for Bard, etc., so forth. If you come across a spell in written form, such as the magic spell, a spell scroll, or a wizard spell book, you might be able to add it to your ritual book. It must have the ritual tag. So I think this works very well for this chef character that we've made. And tough, right? I'm gonna survive. I've lived this long. I've lived 90 years. I've cooked a bunch of food. I've survived a lot of poisonings. Even better, right? You know, having a nice resilient dwarf, they'll, you know, they know their poisons. But I think this would bring a ton of utility and a brawler to any party. And for a Hoardsperson, he'll definitely be keeping that satchel safe. I don't know what you're talking about with a gourmet feat. There's not... there's Grappler and Great Weapon Master. But in the player's handbook, Shukan, there's not a gourmet. I gave him a great axe and 2 hand axes. We could replace it with something else, Fallon, if you have an idea. Is he a spear fighter? You want to give him a glaive? Do you want to say the hand axes are meat cleavers? Well, we could do whatever you want here. I just sort of put him in as placeholders. Unearthed Arcana? Okay. Yeah, so for this, unless there's something special for feats, which I don't believe there are feats in Acquisitions Incorporated, we're sticking with the player's handbook for this exercise. All right, so we're not going to be boosting anything else at our 4 and 8, so now we're going to drop our standard array of 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, and 8. So we have someone who, probably not the most, you know, he can try and persuade. That might be the one thing he tries to do. Not necessarily a sociable person. I mean, he can still do acts of kindness and not have a high charisma, but I don't see him necessarily being very charismatic. Wisdom, probably the second lowest. He is smart, or if you want to reverse it, he could have a higher general wisdom and his intelligence, so he's good at investigation and nature. That being said, we can't give him Ritual Caster. Aha. We can't give him Ritual Caster unless one of these is a 13. So we're going to have to go and rethink that part. Dexterity, put it at whatever we want. Maybe he wears armor and doesn't get the full benefit of the con plus dex unarmored defense. Or we could max out con, right? Make con the 15 and the strength the 14. 15, 14. Then we go int or whiz. So investigation and nature or survival. 13, 12, 10. That might be a good spread. Bedtime for Bonzo. Good night, nerds. Have a great night, GM Vault. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Yeah. Wisdom can be defined as street smarts, and intelligence is book smarts. Wisdom is also instinct. Something like that. I mean, we could just have, especially if we're going tough, I mean, we could put a 10 dexterity and have a 10-12, kind of a smarter barb. That's fine. In general, the tomato analogy works. It's how we want to look at the character. I'm kind of happy with this, though. Again, if you want to make a case otherwise, put it in chat. I'm happy. This isn't my character. This is our character. But if we roll at this, we have a 16 strength, a 17 con. Actually, in this case, we'll swap it. Because you actually get a mechanical benefit for a higher ability score in strength, but not in constitution. Because we can actually carry a little bit more with a 17 than we could at a 16. You were getting the same modifier, but we're still getting a benefit from strength. So that's going to be a 3, 1, 3, 1, 0, minus 1. This is going to give us a 6 and a 3 for our save and our athletics. 1's down the line for dex. Saving throw is going to be 6. Int 1, 1, 1, 1, 4, and 4. Wisdom 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 3. And charisma is, well, persuasion's 2. Everything else we're going to copy and paste this -1 into social skills. So you would flip that, a 13 whiz but 10 int because it requires more book smarts to run a business? Sure. There we go. It is done, Shukan. Passive perception is going to be 11, as it's 10 plus your perception modifier. Represents your natural awareness of what's around you. Initiative is going to be a dex check, so it's +1. However, we have advantage because of our feral instinct. And either you could just reference that, or you could put an A or something next to that. Whatever you'd like to do in that regard. Armor class, if we're not wearing armor, it's going to be 14. If we're wearing medium armor, we haven't met the dex cap, so we could wear any medium armor and still get some benefit out of it. As well as wield a shield. We can go shield with this as well. But if we're just, rolling around in, our chef's uniform, we have our puffy hat and an apron as a barbarian, then we have a 14 with unarmored defense. And you can even put, like, UD or something next to that. Now, current hit points is going to be modified because of the tough feat. You start with your maximum hit points provided by your hit die at level 1, so that's 12. Our remaining 7 levels of our 8 gets half plus 1, which is 7, right? Half of 12 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Then for our... Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That is... Oh, yeah. Then we get... Sorry. I want to make sure I'm not confusing myself here. Okay, no, because it increases by 1, it's actually going to be 7 times 8 because of the tough feat. Because we're getting we are getting bonus hit points off of tough. Or wait, am I messing up on this? Sorry, everyone. Whenever you gain a level thereafter, you're. Oh, survival still at a +3 and not a 4. Ah, thank you. I did forget that one. Oh, plus, yeah. Well, there's also. So it would be the. We also need our con bonus in bonus hit points too, Shukan. I think I'm way overthinking this. Yeah. So your hit point maximum increases by an amount equal to twice your level. So it would be that. So first level, then we have 7 levels of the half +1, our average hit dice. Then for all 8 of our levels, we get bonus hit points equal to our Constitution modifier. Then because of tough, we have 2 times 8 because we're getting 2 hit points per character level. So here, this is going to be 16. This is going to be 24. What 49? That should have been faster for me to reference. Wait. Shame on me. My brain is in a million places right now. All right, so we have 21, 42, 49, yeah. 49. And then 12. So we have 51, we have 61. We have 85. 91. We have 101 hit points at level 8. And our character has earned a name and isn't just a pile of stats. So if any of you have a suggestion for this Mountain Dwarf character, I'm open for it. Hey, Tamarick, welcome. If we're attacking with our strength, we have a +6. As our proficiency is +3 and our strength modifier is also +3. And javelins and hand axes can be both attacked in using melee, which is strength, or they have the thrown property, which uses strength for a projectile. That's 1d12 plus 3. Then, of course, if you're ranging, get extra damage. This is 1d4 plus 3. Javelins are 1d6 plus 3 piercing. We have no spell slots, but we do get rituals. And so we can even put here Ritual Book. Spellcasting ability for that is going to be Wisdom, since that's our 13. And so in this case, well, there's no, I don't think there's attack rituals, but our save DC, 8 plus proficiency, which is 3. So we have 11 plus 1, which is our Wisdom bonus. And so that is 12. If, you know, something in a ritual needs to be saved against. And so here we have Ritual Book, and we get our guaranteed 1 and 2. And we can add other ones. Because look, you have an 8th level character who goes around, wants the best of everything, including the best recipes or the best rituals. This character probably has a very full ritual book. It's a male mountain dwarf. Yeah, Randon Gorsey. If you want, but yeah, male mountain dwarf, 90-year-old adult male mountain dwarf, a totem warrior barbarian who is a failed merchant, in particular a restaurateur who had to give up the business because his partner died and he couldn't keep up. However, he wants to take care of his partner's family. for whatever reason, you know, benevolence. Maybe he's trying to get into the good graces of the spouse and wants to, you know, kind of move in. There's all sorts of possibilities here. And of course, we also have, you know, chaotic neutral. So we have someone who tends to be impulsive, passionate, and does take care of others, but usually not before taking care of himself. You know, a very in-the-moment kind of person. And that kind of, I want this shiny thing now, is super reflective of that. As Daly said, that I said, this character writes itself. So Fallon says, Randon Gorzi, Balmet, Thabular Onyx Spine. How about this? Let's do a combo of what Fallon and Shukan have said here. Baldon, Gorbulir, or Bulurse. Baldon, Gorbulir. And there we go, everyone. We have an Acquisitions Incorporated character. And of course, you know, if this person wants to name the living loot satchel, make it a character as well, you know, you could do so. Right? Kind of put it down here in Animal Companion. Or if he does travel with an Animal Companion, because we have a Totem Warrior Barbarian, and maybe they, you know, this person ingratiates himself to an animal that follows him around. It's right here. It sounds tough to pronounce, like a mouthful of rocks. Definitely dwarvish. All right, so everyone, what we're going to do, let's take a break. And when we come back, Shukan, I'm going to open your box of Storm King's Thunder. And if anyone else wants minis, we'll pop open boxes then. And then we are going to build a Verdun character that is an Acquisitions Incorporated character as well. And we'll do an AI background. We'll roll for another franchise position. And we'll go from there, and we'll have fun making a couple, like, seed officers for a franchise that maybe, hey, if you want to play AI and you want someone to step in and fill these roles because no one in the party is, they're going to be available for you.